Hi, this is Rachel, and this is Designed Resilience, the corner of the internet where we talk about building daily habits and practices that help you have the foundation that you need for resilience, whether life's amazing or really hard. And I have to tell you about an interview I conducted today. It will be published on the channel and the podcast next week, but there's so much goodness in it. I can't wait for you all to see it and hear it. But there was one thing that just it hooked me. It grabbed me. I told my guest on the interview that it was medicine when they said this, and the statement was because I had asked him about in his journey with his resilience and all the things that he had overcome. Did he ever feel like I'm so tired of growing? I'm so tired. Haven't I done enough shadow work? Haven't I done enough self work? Have I done enough changing? Am I good enough? And he waited for me to pause, and then he said, I want to say something about that good enough idea. And he said, when you ask if you are good enough, you need to realize that you are comparing yourself to perfection. Blew my mind. Like, he's so right, but I've never thought about it that way. I admit that in my more than a decade of seeking personal growth and development and going to therapy and reading books and trying to become a more open and loving version of me, that there have been times, lots of times, personally, professionally, in relationship, with regard to my physical body, I have asked, am I good enough? And I have wanted other people to answer, whether that was at work with validating that I'm good enough could be everything from praise and promotion and money to just not have anything negative to say, right? Like I've gone from needing constant praise to just no news is good news, and I can feel confident that I'm good enough if nothing bad is happening. But what that means is, in the work perspective, that I am trying to attain a level that I have not defined for myself, or that I don't know the metrics look like. Personally, am I good enough means that I am operating against perfection, which humans cannot achieve. It is a false pretense. Or I have not defined my own values and beliefs enough that I can't look and say, yes, that response or that self-regulation or that emotion experience was good enough. And so I just had to sit with that for a minute. I had to sit with the fact that some of my self-worth journey, some of my self-concept journey has been more rooted in perfectionism than I thought. And I appreciated so much that he said that to me, because it helps me understand when I am feeling that, when I'm feeling in my, am I resilient enough to be able to have a channel about it? Am I good enough to deserve my relationship or my job, or to feel pretty in my body, and all the things that I have asked, that first of all, I can check myself and say, what's the standard that I'm chasing? What's the standard that I am not sure I'm hitting, and is it perfection? And if it's perfection, then I need to take a step back and relax and know that that was unattainable anyway. And that there's plenty of fun to have that's not perfection. There's plenty of good times, plenty of rewarding work, plenty of amazing conversations that's not perfection. And another thing that he said that just blew my mind. Like I said, I can't wait for you guys to hear this interview, is you're the best you've ever been today. Because today you have the most context and the most information and the most awareness and the most days practicing a skill. And so good enough is not even a destination, because every day you're going to grow and develop and learn. Another mind-blowing statement. And he's right. I'm not saying that every day is just there's like a straight line up, that, you're going to have days like last night. I stayed up entirely too late scrolling on my phone. And so my morning wasn't really on point. I slept in and I didn't do all of my morning things. And so would I consider that my best? No. But I honored myself and took care of myself, which is an improvement from my perspective, because when I was younger and I wasn't as self-loving as I have grown to be, I would have pushed through so that I could have the perfection of the morning routine, as opposed to caring for my body and my mind, which I needed a little more rest because I was sleepy and crabby. And so, yeah, I'm better in the self-compassion department today. I wasn't perfect in my morning routine, but I like the way that I took care of myself better today than I have in the past. So knowing that each day I have a little more context, a little more practice at being a person, means that I have more tools to pull from, even if I'm having a bad day, or even if my emotions are overwhelming, or if I didn't express myself in the way I intended, or I didn't quite nail the work assignment. And tomorrow's another day to change and another day to try and to keep going. So I don't want to, there's so much more in next week's interview. I can't wait for you to see it. And hopefully you'll get the benefit of it that I did just talking to Lawrence C. Harris. I'll give you a little hint. But that really struck me, because there are so many times, one of my thought patterns, one of the records that I play, that's a John Acuff reference. He talks about soundtracks that you play in your mind. One of the soundtracks that I will play is, am I good enough? Did I deserve to be in that conversation? Did I deserve to be in that place? And this conversation interrupted that. And that is hard to do for me. It's hard for me not to be assessing myself all the time. And so if you are one of those people that part of your day-to-day walk is overanalyzing yourself and judging yourself harshly, and letting that be some of the sabotage that you feel, the self-sabotage, which is what it is, then I want to encourage you to take a look at what's the standard you're worried about not achieving. And if it's perfection, take a look back. See if there are things that you can be proud of in that arena, things that you have accomplished in that arena. And also understand that the people that you might be looking to validate that you are in fact good enough may not be paying attention to you specifically, because they've got their own stuff going on. They may not understand you well enough to help you know if you're hitting a standard. So the safest and most reliable place to get information about your worth is in you, because you are the only person that has access to all of that knowledge and experience and perspective. And no one can know your heart or your mind completely. So looking for other people to say that you're good enough is putting a lot of pressure on them for a task that they actually can't do. And it's robbing you of your own wisdom and belittling the truth of your independent experience. So let's all try not to strive for perfection, but to strive for authenticity and being true to ourselves, because that is where we absolutely can succeed. So I hope you'll tune in next week for my interview with Lawrence. You'll definitely be blessed by him. He's incredible. And I hope you found this helpful. And I will see you next week.